interested in signing up. So I'm contacting some higher ups to see how we get them all signed up the best way. And then after that presentation, I then stopped. I was like, well, I'm here. I'm in my my whites. I can go see what else I can do. So I went over to the San Bernardino County Museum in Redlands because they have a STEM lab there, and talked to one of the ladies there, and she got really excited. And next thing you know, I'm giving the presentation again to about 4 staff members of the museum who are also all excited to get signed up. So I sent them the information. They suggested heading over to the library. I went to 2 libraries. They weren't so excited about it. I'm not sure they got the concept, and I was trying not to be too loud because it's a library. But those libraries also did not have a STEM lab. Some libraries do have STEM labs. These 2 that I went to did not. But I'm still going to give them the information and see if there's any interest in it at all. But at the end of the day, it looks like we might get about somewhere between 5 to 10 signups out of this once all the stuff is done. So.
Excellent. Yeah, that's good stuff. I mean, as a senior squadron, obviously, normally it's all about emergency services for us because we don't have a cadet program. But aerospace education is the other thing that we do, and it's good to have active AEs now actually recruiting other adults into the program. So thank you. It looks like we had a couple guests from in. 2 things. If you'll sign in on the second sheet there as guests and introduce yourself. Whoever's not signing can introduce and swap out. The first second. Yeah. Yeah, sorry about that. And I guess while he's writing it in. What was his name again? Ivan. Oh, okay. That's all right. Oh, careful. I know. Safety meeting night. That's the first. The first thing. And introduce yourself.
My name's Eddie. I'm Ivan's flight instructor.
Oh, excellent, excellent. It just seeing what's going on over here.
Yeah,
You're dumping them off here. We can't train them. I mean, we'll just throw them out in the plane and. All right. So, the next update that I had is when I came in today, I noticed the climate control is still on. So, if anyone's coming to the squadron, and it's your squadron, it's not my squadron, it's all of our squadrons together. Be respectful of our neighbors, because the way our climate control system works, if we're using it, they can't really use it on their side. It's kind of weird velour kind of system, and it's supposed to divide 50-50, but if we're not here, there's no reason for us to be using any of it. Just make sure, if you're coming in, set the nest to off, not any other setting. And if you don't know how to do it or don't want to do it or whatever, just send me a note, and I can do it remotely usually. So just a quick note there. Let's see. Reminders. Obviously, there is a promotion review board who Bob and Colonel Swift, who's not here today, and Kathy are all part of. So, doesn't take up a lot of your time. Just make sure that you're checking periodically if somebody's getting close to meeting requirements. For most of the squadron, especially new, that's going to be their level 2 part 1 plus 6 months of time. That's usually going to be the first promotion. That's the most common one, but track the other ones as well. Also, awards review board. So, as we all know, Civil Air Patrol is a volunteer organization. We don't get paid, but we get paid in kudos, and those kudos come in the form of awards. Awards can be for anything, and any CAP member can award any other CAP member, can nominate them for an award. Here in the squadron, there's a review board. If those awards are being awarded within the squadron and at the squadron level. For things that go above the squadron level, there's actually a group awards committee, and on and on and on. But if you see somebody doing something good, helps you out, make note of it, and recommend them for an award. If you need, anybody has access to it. So as soon as you have access to e-services, you can get in and you can start recommending awards left and right if you want. But there is a format, and that's one of the things that the review board will review on every request for awards. Just a note on that, because it's our pay. This is how we get paid here. So, on to the fun stuff. I'll take the initial heat, and then I'll let Al iterate on it. We have no flyable aircraft. So, as we all know, November 216 Charlie Papa is down due to some fluctuations regarding oil pressure. It was first discovered at IPL. It was stuck at IPL for a while. It was flown back to here, and it's over, I believe, in Maintenance 1, getting looked at. I'll let Al fill in if there's anything I missed. 887 Charlie Papa, which was our temporary replacement that we had something to fly, is grounded at Fullerton due to a fuel leak. So, yay. The Wandering Cessna 172 that's supposed to be coming here, for at least to this area, for us to help train, is still in Arizona. No updates. Yeah.
Sounds like government.
Oh yeah, we're kind of government adjacent, yeah. And then the Tahoe, of course, there was a new EFIS card. So if anyone's using the Tahoe, I don't know if anybody specifically in a squadron has an event they need to use it, but if you do, there's a new card with instructions on how to use it. It's a little confusing. And if you get it wrong, it'll kind of lock the card. So make sure you read the instructions and who to call if you accidentally lock the card. Key fobs. I thought I saw in the EFIS, the new EFIS instructions, that maintenance is allowed to be used on the card. I thought I saw that. We might want to check, because it'll definitely make getting the fob done a little easier.
Chuck, did you tell me that there was a fob already there?
No, there is no fob.
There is no fob. Okay.
Wait, what? There was a fob. What
There is
happened?
a fob?
Well,
Didn't you buy a new fob?
I have fobs that have not been programmed, but
Right.
I had a conversation that somebody reported that a fob might have been in the car.
Oh,
If that's not the case.
It is not there.
Okay. In that
Okay.
case, we still need to get them programmed.
okay. So, and I only skimmed it. I probably should read it, but I thought I saw something in there that it said fuel and maintenance goes on the EFIS card. So if that's true, that is considered maintenance, at least in my mind. So I'll let them yell at me about it. Anything that I missed on the
Let's
Transportation?
see,
vehicle?
the inspection on the vehicle, cracked dash. That may need.
It's a general aviation aircraft, isn't that the default for every? I mean, come on, Bob.
The dash is cracked. It was reported. Maintenance, the windshield wipers needed to be replaced.
Which, yeah, I think you took care of that.
Done. As far as the airplanes, there was a recap that came out from Gary Cinnamon for the wing, all the planes that flew. Let's see. We lost another airplane, 743 Charlie Papa, had a ground handling incident at Fullerton, and it's been totaled. Too expensive to repair, so one less plane.
It wasn't CAP ground handling. Another aircraft chopped it up with its prop.
Is that what it was?
I believe so.
That's not what I heard.
Oh, what'd you hear?
I heard that it was the maintenance officer was doing a thing on.
Yeah, I was misconstruing it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wasn't CAP personnel, if I'm not mistaken, was
I
it?
think it was the AMO.
Oh no! Come on! Boo! I thought we had escaped all the ire on that one. So it was the AMO doing it,
Yeah.
and I believe that AMO was not a rated pilot.
Yeah. No, they weren't.
Wonderful. So we escaped one error with the accident up in Nevada, where it wasn't our fault. A guy ran into our plane, and our crew survived the incident. Because I was looking at some of the social media, so as you guys probably should know with the OPSEC requirements and whatnot, if you are involved in an incident in CAP, you shouldn't be chattering about it on social media. We have regulations that govern all that. Come to me, come to the PIO if you have questions. But there was an incident in Reno, I think, or outside of Reno, Minden.
Minden, Tahoe.
Tahoe, that's right. It's like South Tahoe. I used to live there. I should know better. Well, not in Minden, but
on Emerald Bay.
Oh wow, yeah. See, oh, great, it's cool. No, I lived in West Reno for like a year, so I should know the area much better. But I wasn't a pilot then, so. But anyways, there was a midair, and you know, the incident around the midair is definitely not CAP's fault. We were in there doing pattern work. A person did not have ADSB on, announced like 30 seconds before they entered the pattern, and you know, bad things happen. But fortunately, it was a Form 5 flight. The captain instructor took control of the aircraft. It was missing a prop blade and most of its upper cowling, and it still landed safely. But the other guy was the owner or the manufacturer of the Swift aircraft, if I'm not mistaken. Or
The manufacturer rebuilt a lot of the Swift aircraft.
yeah, and he was ferrying it from the private airfield nearby the airport to that airport, and he was known for, I don't want the government tracking my plane, and you know, other such nonsense. And this time it cost him his life. So keeping on safety topics, you know, communicate, learn non-towered procedures if you're a pilot. Keep your head on a swivel. Although in this case, they literally couldn't see it. They didn't even know what hit the plane. Like when they interviewed the pilots, they were just like, we thought we had a catastrophic prop failure, and they found a piece of that prop in the the accident aircraft. So, anyways, yeah, we got off topic. So, back, and we're back. Upcoming CAP events and training opportunities. The one big one that some of you, I heard somebody mention G1000, but if you haven't done the ground school yet, here's your opportunity. Thursday, November 21st at 6:30 p.m. It's going to be online. So this is for pilots and non-pilots. If you want to know, especially us observers who sit up there and use the MFDs, if you want to learn about the G1000 and get signed off on it specifically, if you're a pilot or looking to be a pilot at some point, this is the best opportunity to do it. If you need more information, you can either find in the agenda, which I post to our team's files area in general. That link will work, or just hit me up and I'll send you the link to the team's chat. You know, I was going to delete this whole SARX thing because I can't find any actual data of when it's going to occur. So I probably am just going to take it out at this point because people ask and I have no data. So it's supposed to be a Group 3 SARX in Big Bear on the 22nd of November, but I searched my email and I could not really find any recent relevant updates. So I'm just going to, until I hear more, I'm going to take it out. PCR Ring Conference, I've been talking about that a little bit. If you missed Wing, which was up north, and you're going to be in Portland in April, yeah, you want to go further north? Hey, maybe you got family in Portland. You're just up there during April. You have nothing else to do. Go to the PCR Region Conference. So, and remember, for a lot of you, this won't make much of a difference. But if you're looking to get through kind of your level 3, which is captain for those of you who don't know, one of the requirements is that you need to attend 2 wing, region, or national conferences. So it would fulfill one of those requirements. We have no planes, so there are no O-rights. By nature, there's no IPO, SARX, or missions. Recruitment opportunities, as we talk about, you know, the ones that I'm aware of is we're still looking for a recruitment officer. We have a lot of people doing recruiting, which is awesome. We have no one dedicated to the recruitment function, which is not so awesome. But as long as people are recruiting, I'm okay with the balance of no recruitment officer, but a lot of recruiting. Other than that, if you love planes, which I hope you do since you're in CAP, and you want to be around aircraft on weekends, this is a schedule, at least the kind of personal ones for me that I have been to locally, of the display days. For people who don't know, owners of aircraft that are considered vintage, which I believe is older than 1975 at this point. That's really vintage. That makes me vintage. I'm bummed out. But if you want to see vintage aircraft, you can go to these airports on these days. And I already see. I think I see one typo. There are. There we go. I can't talk and type. You go to these airports on these days because they're by the numbered week. It's usually from 10 to 2. Usually these airports have some sort of cafe that you can hang out. So it's a good place to, if you want to bring your kids and get them excited about airplanes and general aviation in general. Come on those days, watch planes. I know I can only speak for really, the Corona, KJO, and Fullerton because I've done those. It's a fun time. The cafes are great, good food. Riverside one, it's over in Transient, and same thing. It's good food. They usually have live entertainment over by the Riverside Cafe. Chino's always fun because Chino has a ton of really cool aircraft that people own. There's people around there flying OV-10 Broncos and stuff. So it's crazy town over at Chino. And then Flaybob, same thing. There's a lot of original kind of aircraft over there. So if you're interested, that's a good time to kind of get out there and talk planes. Yes.
One thing I want to make sure to point out about if anybody is recruiting anybody or whatever, just make sure you let them know about the lack of meetings coming up over the rest of the year.
Yeah, it's not the best time for recruitment because at the end of the agenda, if you're ever concerned or confused or curious about which days we're not, at the end of every agenda, I do put our kind of holiday schedule, which is mostly we don't meet, but I have specific dates in there. And on that note, the next big thing, which I think Bob also wrote up there, is December. We are saying December 10th. Yep, December 10th. We're going to the old, as we always do, we go to the old spaghetti factory in Riverside, and I still say we're saying no kids, right? We're saying just adults. Yeah, okay. Hey, you guys don't count. You're adult enough.
We have reservations for 20 seats. Now, I have to know at least 4 days prior to that date
If
we're
that's
going to have more than 20.
Hey, Kathy, would you like to do a form to see who's interested in going to the Christmas dinner so that Bob can know? Oh, are you doing it? Sorry.
Didn't you have the whole thing?
I didn't have an officer in
I
charge
just
up
had
here.
at their
The
spaghetti
original
factory?
one was just to see the dates of what we're going to do.
Oh, okay.
Because I actually thought you said it was going to be on the 7th for some reason.
No?
I haven't changed this date
You
for a
are
while.
the 10th. Okay. Okay.
Well, so Bob needs to know final count 4 days before?
I'm asking for 4 days, so if we have more than 20, they can make arrangements to have more than just the one server. You try and get 2 servers. You may need 3 if it increases. And the room is set up such that it's in the back room. I think last year they put us in a different place, but if we have more than that, then we end up in a large room in the back, and that's normally the party room.
Yeah.
So if you have people there for Christmas,
Yeah.
and you've got parties for families and stuff, it's going to be crowded, and so therefore, 20. If I end up with 24 or 26 people, and each one gets a separate ticket, or a party of 2 gets 1 ticket, then they got to extend that table length for us.
Okay.
We've had that happen,
Okay.
but we've
Okay.
been able to manage.
Okay. Well, if you can just get a count
Yeah.
and make sure he knows before 4 days, that would be
Do
great.
they require you to use like a catering menu after so many people?
Yeah,
We just
normally
went to
they've
an event
allowed
there.
us, there's 4 different dishes that if we have quite a few people, that they limit it to.
Mhm.
Last year, they had us off the menu.
Okay, you just
So,
ordered off the
but
menu.
if you get something much larger, then it goes under the catering concept, so therefore they'll have probably four dishes. There'll be a vegetable dish, and then the rest will be pastas.
Yeah, 'cause we just went to Major Benner's birthday,
Oh,
and that's what they did.
Okay.
Because there was,
Yeah,
3
so many people.
or whatever, so yeah, we only could choose between 4 items.
see, I reached out to the person. Wow, no one told me when and where it was. So. Oh well. Anyways, okay. But if you can, I'm putting you down as officer in charge so that
Okay.
if people see this, they know to contact you.
Okay,
I'm
great.
assuming you'll send out a form or something to help
Yeah,
out.
I'll create one of those forms. I think I kind of learned it out.
She's got that down.
She's got it down, yeah.
We Excel.
Oh, but the problem is with the new people who don't have that, because that would be under Outlook, right?
So in the form, you just you have to check
Yes, I can
allow
check
outside.
outside addresses.
Yes.
That's right, email
Mhm.
addresses.
Yeah, I made that mistake when I first started doing them for the Squadron updates, and people were like, "I can't get in."
All right, great.
Thank you. Let me know. Let me know.
Right now, and just go around the room and see who's gonna be here and get started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be a single. My wife stays home to cook 3 meals for the family.
I managed to wrangle the wife out last time, so I was surprised. Let's see. Okay. January 11th and 12th. It's tentative still, but I think they're it's far enough ahead. They'll probably do it. They're planning a SARX, so Aaron is planning a SARX. If people are interested, so this is it's gonna be a little bit different. As far as I know, it's not going to be a giant madhouse in this squadron base. Like we're the air and base staff, but we're not the ground base is going to be somewhere else. So no. So I guess no cadets roaming around. I'm not sure, unless they're comms. So I think that'll probably be there.
I didn't hear that. And supposedly I'm the safety officer.
Oh, really? So that's what I saw. Is it's supposed to be ground base is supposed to be out of Lancaster or something like that.
Wow.
Well, that might be right. It begins with an L, but I know what I do know is ground base won't be here. Like it'll be somewhere else, and we're going to stage all of the air and
And
base
it's
staff.
strictly an MS school, from what I
Mm.
understand.
No, SARX. I'm on the SARX. So
Oh,
yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, January 11th and 12th. SARX still tentative, but it's probably going to happen. If you are interested in, I can't speak to air crews because we don't have planes. I am most likely going to be AOBD, so I'll be hopefully building the teams to be air crews. But if you are looking to finish base staff stuff, like I still need to finish some base staff stuff, let Aaron know so that you're interested in what you're interested in doing, so you can get that stuff finished up. So that's SARX 11, 12 of next year, obviously. February of next year. 8 and 9, that's the mission scanner school. And I don't know. Let's see. So for those of you who are not new or guests to CAP, the path to being a mission pilot does require you to be a mission scanner. Mission scanners are the eyeballs that sit in the back of the aircraft that are attached to a human body that does the actual scanning. And it's important for all of our mission pilots to know what's going on in the back. I mean, if you like to fly a little crazy, people in the back get sick. But they have a job to do. They're scanning, which means you need to fly the grids as written. And every mission pilot has to be at least a scanner first. You do not have to be a mission observer, but this is where I insert the discussion about mission scanners sit in the back. They scan for targets, whether that's a lost hiker, whether it's a disabled vehicle or aircraft. And then you have mission observers that sit in the front right seat. Their job is to manage the mission, manage CAP comms, generally be a good co-pilot, but manage the mission, not so much scan. So mission observers are kind of separate. Mission observers do have to be scanners as well. But if you're looking to be a mission pilot in CAP, you will have to be a scanner. And if you haven't done scanner duties, you will have to go to a mission scanner school and suffer through a nice, good, turbulent, few hours in the back of a Cessna. It's better to do them during the winter because you don't get all the turbulence. But if you do them in the summer SARXs, you will get bounced around, and I hope you have a good constitution. But for more information on that, also, Aaron Gappison is also going to be, I guess he's running that, isn't he?
Mhm.
Yeah. So, but also Chuck knows a lot about it. I think, are you going to be teaching or?
For that, I'm going to be the safety officer for it,
Okay.
which I need to talk
Yeah.
to Roger about because I'm not sure I'm qualified to be. But anyway.
Yeah, well,
talk.
Yeah, we have to look at that because you're supposed to be.
primary?
MSO.
Yeah, there's not. No, well, no, he doesn't have to be primary. But when you're doing something with a like a school or a SARX, you have to be a mission safety officer.
Oh,
which is
oh,
a
an
higher
MSO.
level, yeah. Now, in the school, it may not need to be
I
that.
I haven't noticed that when people do classes and stuff.
Yeah.
I haven't noticed that they've needed an MSO,
Yeah.
but for SARX is definitely.
For SARX is most definitely.
I mean, you should
yeah.
be at least a trainee.
Yeah.
But that's what I've seen. But anyways, if you are looking to get your mission scanner, the famine prep will be done in this school, and then you can look for a SARX to kind of get the flying portion done. I don't. Are they going to have air crews if we have aircraft?
Supposedly what's gonna happen is the 8th will be all classroom.
Okay.
And then the 9th will be
All
the
flying. Okay, good. Well, good. There you go. Knock it all out at once, because it is the. I mean, we tried doing a combined MO-MS, and it just got nuts. So we're gonna breaking it up is definitely the way to go if you need that knocked out. And then the final thing is February 15th of next year. There will be a communications conference, which I know very little about. I just know that it will be here hosted at Squadron 5. And I don't know who Lieutenant Leo Liberario is, but he's working with Josh Rexulia to do a communications conference. Are you going to that as well? Or?
Yeah, I think I am presenting during that.
You might as well just bring a cot and just camp out at the squadron for like the.
No,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
gonna be interesting. We're going to have some of the newer HF radios here.
Oh,
We're
okay.
going to talk about space weather.
Okay.
There's going to be some good comms information.
Well, cool. If you're in,
attending those conferences is a requirement if you're looking to be a communications officer.
Okay. All right. Excellent. So good stuff. Pretty far away, but that's why we put them in the agenda. So if you're curious, you can look in the agendas and see what's coming up next. A reminder, general announcement: the pilot onboarding is open. It's funded for the year, so get in there and get yourself checked out if you haven't already. A reminder again about if you have not set up multi-factor authentication for your Office 365 account, please do that. It makes your account far more secure. If you currently don't have an Office 365 account and you are signing up for CAP anytime soon, there's a giant question mark on whether you're going to actually get an email account because Microsoft wants to start charging CAP for this. So, and like I said, we're a volunteer organization, so we're not going to pay for that. So we'll see how that works out. See, debriefing. We kind of did a debrief. The only other debrief I didn't see at the ICS 400, so.
Yeah, no, I was in Arizona.
Yeah.
I skipped it.
It wasn't that bad. It was a very small class. So again, to briefly recap, the FEMA training that we all have to do starts at ICS 100, and by the time you'll be a mission pilot, you'll have ICS 100, 200, 300, and 400, and 700 and 800. So you will kind of get through all of those. Sounds like a lot, and it is, but what it does is give you a good foundation of understanding the National Incident Command's Incident Management System and the Incident Command System that we interface with here at CAP. Without that, you're not going to be able to advance far through getting any actual incident training, and it is a prerequisite for being a mission pilot and a lot of the base staff positions. I have some crazy dream one day that I'll want to run an incident because I'm insane. So I wanted to get my 300 and 400 done so that I can be advanced base staff. And really, it's a giant recap is what it is, because the incident command system is very specific, has different terminology that you have to know. But when you get into the base staff positions, you really need to understand ICS a little bit more, because on a real incident, you're going to be interfacing with other departments and other types of fire departments and sheriff's departments and FEMA, and it gets a little complicated. The 400 takes it to its kind of final step. It's kind of a graduate level course where now you get into really how do big incidents work and how does the system work for those giant incidences. So things like a hurricane hits the coast and causes a wide range of problems in a localized area. How does that incident get managed? So it was very interesting. It's 2 days, but it was a small class. It was like 4 of us, so they were able to kind of we got a lot of really good information because it was such a small class. But hopefully, what that means is I know a lot more about ICS than I used to. But that was my weekend last weekend, and we finally arrived with. All right, Roger, are you doing the fun? So today is safety day. So Roger will do his safety thing.
Can I connect up there? Or was that-
Sure,
Yeah.
you can just
I
override it.
just, I know that we, on the ICS 700,
Do you know how to share? Or
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let me get rid of that. 700 was a blast. It's way up there. That's one where you actually are with, in the class I had a huge class, and I had a sheriff's department, I had fire departments, Homeland Security people in there, and they appoint you into a position, and I happen to be a mayor of a town somewhere back east, because you do a lot of that stuff back east, and you don't know too much about what's going on, but it was the ICS courses, the one that you just did is really neat, but getting in the next level, that's when you really start seeing how things work. And it is just really a kick. It was a lot of fun. We were in the class it was a full week, 5 days, and you were expected to, participate a lot. Okay, let's see. All right, I am the safety officer for Squadron 5. My name is Roger Mann, for those of you guys that are new. My boss here, he sits right there, so I can never get away with doing something that's not authorized or anything. But he's our group safety officer. And so let me get in here and see if I can I don't really need to get in here necessarily, because really what I'm talking about tonight is going to be quite interesting. I decided to talk about, believe it or not, what some of you guys are probably already doing, sleeping. Okay, that's what I'm going to talk about tonight. The reason why I kind of got really into it, when I was in college, I went to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, and one of my senior projects that I had, and it's not even coming up.
are you on Wi-Fi?
Yeah, it's
Are you on Wi-Fi?
usually, yeah, I should be.
Because you should just be able to kick me
Yeah,
off.
I should be right now. Okay, all three are on there.
You should be able to kick me
I know,
right off.
I've never had it not pick up before. I think that's the first time I've ever seen that.
Well, here, I'll stop share.
Huh.
Okay.
Well, I never seen it where it never picked up Squadron 5. I've had this happen at home, but not here. It always had a boom almost immediately.
Make sure, go to your Wi-Fi settings. Make sure they're good.
Where am I at? I think I have it over here. Okay. I moved it to another place, so
I'll show you.
there it is.
Okay, there's a trick.
Yeah, okay.
Not
Not
connected.
connected.
There you go.
Interesting. Oops. Oh, whoa, wait a minute. It moved. I hate that whenever it does that. Where am I at? Oh, yeah, right here. Oh, wow. Okay.
There you go.
I have
I
it,
got it.
but I don't have it.
I think you may not have ever reattached. That's probably
Yeah,
after I did all the changes. That's probably why.
Well, that might be, yeah. It's all your fault, I think.
Yes.
My phone didn't automatically connect to either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I've noticed some phones do, some phones don't. I don't know why.
Yeah, whoops, no, I'm doing the wrong one. Okay. That wasn't it. Whoops. Darn, got it. Why am I hitting the wrong ones? Okay, we'll see.
Uh-oh.
Unable to join Squadron. Okay. Oh, wow. You know what? I may just forget this. I kind of wanted to have it
Here,
up there,
I'll
but
type
it's
it for you.
not.
I'll get you up there.
There's still, anyhow, back when I was in college, when I was in my 20s, about a month or so ago. Yeah. Yes. Anyhow, I did a senior project, and it was on sleeping, and it was absolutely incredible what I discovered on that. It was just amazing what people, everybody complains about, oh, I didn't get enough sleep last night, or I did get some sleep, or I did this and that, and everybody always knows about that. But very few people ever really research or look into sleeping and how it affects you. And it was amazing just some of the things I found out. And one of those big things is that they discovered that during World War II, if the soldiers that were out on the battlefield who have been up, for days and many times, if they had just been able to sleep for 20 minutes,
There you go.
and do it for 20 minutes only, and they can regain 50% of their faculties, of their awareness and being able to be in action. Of course, it never got done, or they weren't ever able to convince a commander to sit there and have his troops fall asleep, but they could have done like sections, 20 minutes here, okay, wake up, 20 minutes here, wake up, that type. They could have done it. And the troops would have been, 50% would have been regained as far as fighting the battle. And that was, a lot of that is something that they really started looking into it. And they realized that, I don't know how many of you here have ever taken a nap in the afternoon and you get up and feel better. How many of you here have taken naps in the afternoon and woke up and felt horrible? Yeah. Well, they discovered 20 minutes. If you take a nap, do it for 20 minutes. No more. Now, you can probably go over 5 minutes, and it probably won't make that much of a difference. But if you go too far, your mind will sit there and actually want to go to sleep more. But if you're trying to do it like, you're studying for classes, or you're working, or you're out on a mission with CAP, that 20 minutes will recover you at least 50%. And that was just fascinating to me. And I just realized, wow, there's a lot more to this thing than there is. So how many of you here get the magazine, the CAP magazine? I always forget the name of it because they changed the name to it, and now I can't remember what it's called.
It's not Cap Watch, right?
No, they used to call it the
Props
monthly
or something?
safety. Yeah, it was a safety magazine. I don't want to have to try to look it up, but it's but the magazine used to, would tell you all the things that's going on in the whole world as far as CAP, and then the safety magazine, of course, focused on safety. And incidentally, you guys can actually read that magazine and get credit for safety. So you don't have to stand there or listen to me talk, you can also do it that way. But then, of course, you still have to come here tonight anyhow. The had an article in there about sleep. Okay, it was not that good of an article. I mean, I read the thing, and basically he's just telling you, just get good sleep. Well, okay, that's kind of vague. But he did have a link to the National Safety. Yeah, I have to remember what it's called. Oh, NSF. Yeah, National Safety Foundation. Okay, and so I went there, and that's, huh?
They said National Sleep Foundation.
Safety. Yeah, National Safety Foundation, NSF. That's it's an organization that does research in sleep. They have. That's when I looked at it, and I told Bob because I was talking to him on the phone. When I looked at it, I said, "Oh my goodness, I think I'll go back to talking about safety in airplanes and things like that." I mean, this thing is just incredibly complicated, and it is so complicated that it's got, the research. My degree is in biological science, and we did a lot of research type stuff that I got into. And this thing is just something else. It talks a lot about this stuff. And they actually have one, which we won't get into tonight, about this right here and how this affects your sleep. It was about, I think it was small type, about 20 or 30 pages long on the research on how not just cell phone but watching TV affects your sleep at night. They highly recommend that you don't do this at least an hour before you go to bed. Stay away from it. If you need to read something, get a real book and read that. And I know what they mean because I when I read a book off my phone through Kindle or something and then read the real book, there is a difference. I don't know if any of you guys know what I'm talking about at all, but there is a difference. But anyhow, they highly suggest that you don't use this for a long time prior. But they're very, they say that there's a lot of things. But that's a whole nother subject. I won't even get into that one. The rest of this stuff here is all basically, one of the things that I did when I was flying for the Air Force, we would fly from Iraq to Washington, D.C., and bringing wounded back from the battlefield. And we would land after being up for almost 20 hours, land the airplane at 11 o'clock at night in Washington, D.C. And it took about another 2.5, 3 hours for them to unload the patients. And one of the things that, we had still had to fly the airplane another 1.5 to 2 hours to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. So here it is at 3 o'clock in the morning. We've been up all this whole time. Well, you actually tried to get a cat nap. And I already knew about this 20-minute thing, at that point. And, but, you try to get some sleep. But the loadmasters never got it because they were out there helping unload the patients. But one of the things that we used to do, and I brought it up here in Civil Air Patrol before, when I've talked up here, whenever you get to that point and you're that tired, follow the checklist and don't worry about time. And that's the one thing that we didn't do. Aircraft commander get up there, everybody got in their seats. You do everything methodically. I mean, like, okay, I'm sitting in the seat. And you can actually say it out loud. Okay, I'm in the seat. All right, seat belt. Okay, I need to get the seat belt on. So strap one. You actually do like as if you were a brand new person sitting in that airplane. Everybody did that. And the checklist was read by the flight engineer, and the flight engineer would just read each one and backed up by all three of the people, pilot, co-pilot, flight engineer, and anybody else that's in the cockpit. And we actually never crashed an airplane, never dinged a wingtip, never had any incident take place during that whole time that we went through all that. Because everybody did their job focusing on what they did and did not have an arrogant or, oh, well, I can do this. Oh, yeah, no, I'm sorry. Get off the plane. No, it's, yeah, I'm tired. I'm going to screw up. This don't screw up, okay? So you do that. That's what we did. And then, of course, you get the Wright-Patterson, and
now the crew bus was driven by somebody else, so we didn't have to worry about getting to it. But we get back to the rooms and crash. I tried to look up AOPA's viewpoint on sleep, and the whole thing, all they talked about was the sleep apnea thing, which I guess is quite a controversy. If you have sleep apnea, FAA requires you to go through some tests, and you have to be observed by a doctor sometimes. Other ones don't. Others can do it on their own, but they have to report it to the FAA. It's quite a big deal. I don't think anybody here has that problem, but I was a little disappointed with AOPA. They hardly even touched on just what we're going to look at tonight, and it's not going to be much longer. It's just what I'm doing tonight is basically a summary of all the things that we looked at, that I looked at on all this research. I skimmed through most of the research, and every single one of them come right down to certain, there's like about 4 or 5 things that they suggest for you to do to get good sleep. We here in Civil Air Patrol, when you're flying on a mission, usually it's just a little bit different than most pilots who are out there flying. Well, it's a lot different in a lot of ways, but in our sleep cycle, it's a little bit different. I don't know how many of you are involved or will be involved in the counter or the border. What do you call it? Where you're down on the border, flying on the border. It's grueling. You're up there, you're flying for 5 hours straight. It's the hardest in the summertime because it's 100 degrees in that airplane and you're hot, which definitely affects your sleep. Okay, let's see if I can get this. Okay, this thing here is done by the FAA that you're seeing up here, and let's see if I can get it to go the other way. And I just want to concentrate on that one right there. And this right here, all it is just basically verbatim almost what the research has found that I looked at. And then the FAA, of course, came in and says, okay, this is what we want you to do and not do. And, common sense is a big player in safety. Most safety things are common sense. It's just plain down-to-earth common sense. Use your head, So, lifestyle recommendations. Don't consume alcohol or caffeine 3 to 4 hours before going to bed. I think most people intuitively know that. They know that if they drink caffeine, that I can't drink any coffee because I'm going to stay up all night. Alcohol, same thing. Okay, it's something that. Oh yeah, and like they say in all these articles, including the research, is that this whole thing about that nightcap to give you a good night's sleep. No, that they've done that, and I looked at the research papers real quick on that, and yeah, they find that no, the numbers are way off. I mean, it's like anybody that drinks does not get a good night's sleep, unless you are one of those people that can. I suppose because everybody's different. Okay, eat a heavy meal just before bedtime. I think most of us know that. That's where you gain weight, when you start doing that. Take work to bed. How many here take their work to bed? You do? Yeah.
Not recently, but
Yeah, well,
I fall asleep when I do it.
yeah, I know. That's the whole thing you do, don't you? Yeah. You get the dash one in the Air Force, but your flight manual, exercise 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. You don't, because again, your body's raring to go when you do that. And that's So you want to do it, if you can, do it in the morning if you can. It promotes healthy lifestyle, but it shouldn't be done that close to bedtime. Use sleeping pills. That's kind of one of those things. We had several guys I flew with in the Air Force that were under sleep testing, and we had one that he was supposed to listen to certain music, and we were flying to Europe, and we were in Europe for 3 weeks there on a big long mission, and I can tell you about that some other time. But he was never used sleeping pills, but he did use music, and he was supposed to report how good of a sleep. But we're sitting there looking at, he was the aircraft commander. We're going, well, sir, I hope it works. It's a good time to go testing it while you're out here flying with the whole crew. But anyhow, that's one of the things that they tell you. How many of you have heard that there is no such a thing as catch-up sleep? If you miss sleep, you can catch up to it with it, and well, actually, that is not a true statement. They tell you that there is no such thing. Yes, there is. And I read the research paper. It is a whole separate thing in itself, but yes, they found that if you work during the week and you work like shift work or whatever, and then you get your days off, your body will catch up if you go to bed, and you can do catch-up sleep. It does work. Yeah, I know. I for years I was always told, oh, that's a wives' tale. No, it's not. It actually is true. Okay, be mindful of the side effects of certain medications, even over-counter. Okay, as pilots and flyers, you should already know that. Shouldn't even, Consult a physician to diagnose and treat any medical conditions. Again, as a pilot, you should already know, no, we don't do that. However, I do know that people that have, unfortunately. The guy I knew that used to do it in the Air Force is dead now. He died from a massive heart attack. And that's something that, use your head. Create comfortable sleep environment. Okay, I think most of us do. Most of us try to keep out the light if you can. That's one of the big things of some of the research I saw was just that. Try to keep the light levels down if you can. But when you get up in the morning, go to light. And there's a huge study on how getting up in the morning affects your sleep. And it's amazing. It's just like, wow. The people that get up and go outside and go right into the sun oftentimes sleep better. And they're also more awake the next day, especially if you're flying an airplane. When traveling, select hotels. Okay, that's kind of out of our control here in Civil Air Patrol. Air Force was the same way. We had to sleep where we were told. But, again, try to make it as comfortable as possible. Now, if you got your own airplane and you're going out and flying on your own, you can pick and choose. Get into the habit of sleeping 8 hours per night. Yeah, that's something that everybody tries to do, I suppose. There are some people, I've been told that by a couple of people that I could never sleep 8 hours. I only sleep 4 hours a night. Well, that was that person's opinion. I don't know. They say try to shoot for that 8 hours. Now, it does tell you right here, when needed, if possible, nap during the day, but limit it to less than 30 minutes. And we talked about that as far as, what happens when you're awake for a long time. You can take naps. Well, if you're allowed to. Okay. Try to turn in at the same time every day. They really push that on some of the papers that I read. They say try to keep it within the same time frame. Okay, if it's at all possible. to. If you can't fall asleep within 30 minutes, going to bed, get up and try to actively helps induce sleep. In other words, watch non-violent TV. You notice they put that in there. Read, listen to relaxing music, and so forth. Yeah, I've always had problems trying to do that, but you know, if you can't sleep, they tell you don't try to sleep. Just get up and do it. And some of the people I've talked to, like my wife, you know, she does a lot better when she does something like that, and then she does go to sleep. Get plenty of rest and minimize stress before a flight. Yeah. Again, as pilots, you should already know this. It is CRM, it's risk management, and we are not to fly if you've been up all night arguing with your spouse or your kids or with a school teacher or whatever. They would rather you go home and they have to try to find a place, somebody to take your place, than going out and getting killed. There's a whole lot of stuff on this. I mean, tons of things. There's you can get this pamphlet offline with the FAA, Fatigue in Action, and Aviation rather, and it's it's you know, it's got a whole nother page to it down here, a whole bunch of stuff and talking and details. If you go into the National Sleep, you know, the NS, yeah, those guys I just mentioned earlier. I don't know why it doesn't stick to my mind, but anyhow, they have a bunch of articles. If you're scientifically minded, you can probably get through it, but it's very, very technical, very technical. Any questions?
I was going to touch base a little bit here with the experiences. So while Roger was talking, I just looked up sleep deprivation.
Yeah.
Deprivation. So, lack of sleep can cause chronic health problems, adding to heart disease, kidney disease, high blood pressure. I can relate to that. The 4 hours sleep, I had one at 130 over 70. Never been that high in my life. Diabetes, stroke, obesity, and depression. That's just some of the stuff. American Airlines had a flight. I'd eat dinner, I'd sleep for about 15 minutes, get up, leave the house at 7, get to the airport at 9, give myself plenty of time, 9:15, sign in at 9:30, flight leaves at 10:30 p.m. Non-stop flying, and sit on the ground for 2.5 hours. So now you're awake. You get back in, that's another hour prior to departure. You go from Miami to Port-au-Prince or to Puerto Rico. Halfway through that flight across the old pond, first officer's hanging his straps, the engineer's hanging his straps. And I wouldn't eat anything that night. I'd maybe bring a little bag of popcorn, and I'd share that. I can drink a pot of coffee and go to sleep. That's just me. The problem here is that by the time you got to Puerto Rico, you go to sleep, but then the nocturnal system is already gone, and you're back into the daytime, so you only get about 2 hours sleep. If I flew into Belgium, Brussels, I would try and stay awake. I'd set my clock, I'd give myself 3 hours sleep, and then I'd go to bed on a regular scheduled appointment. I sleep 8 hours, get up in the morning, have breakfast, and I was good to get all the way back to Chicago. So there are things that are going to affect you independently, and each person is going to be a little bit different. Each person is going to be a little bit different. You take Trump, he lives on 3 to 4 hours sleep a night. I used to do that. Board ship, I used to fly 4 on, 4 off, 4 on, 4 off. I went for 3.5 days. I collapsed after that. They started to give me some APC. That's all-purpose pill. It's supposed to cure everything in the service. basically
called
just
speed,
plain old
wasn't
aspirin, right? That makes you lose your hair. But I stayed in Iraq for a day, and then they went through GQ for the carrier. I said, "To hell with this, I'm staying in bed." So then I was on watch for a week as a junior officer because I didn't make it back to the ready room. But I said, there's different things, and like Roger's talking about, interesting enough, last night I happened to be watching a documentary on Palu. Palu is one of the islands, 2 miles wide, 7 feet long. It was worse than Iwo Jima, 15,000 killed, more than Iwo Jima had in deaths. And what happened, the guys would fight all day, go through the battle time, and then try and sleep at night, but then the Japanese would come down and slit throats. So they were awake all day. On the 4th day, they were dragging. I had a trip, I said, I got to watch the stars. That was my keyword. I got to watch the stars. I said, don't let me go past 15, 20 minutes. One first officer let me sleep for 40 minutes. I said, don't ever do that again. I was shot. I got up and had to walk through the airplane a couple times just to get the body going again, which isn't good. But I could take and get 15, 20 minutes just watching the stars, put my head back, goes off, wake up, and it's just enough to give you a shot in the arm. So just be cautious about even driving long trips. Take a break, wind down that
The
window, stick
dispatch.
your head out the window once in a while. Stop, walk around the car. It's just enough to re-stimulate you, give you a little extra boost. Don't try and keep on going. I did that one time. I'll guarantee you, I was chasing rabbits in New Mexico over the hill. I don't know how fast I was going, but I swear to God, I was going to catch them. And I hadn't been asleep in 30 hours. I'm trying to drive nonstop to LA out of Louisiana. Yeah, straight. So there's a lot of good stuff. I think documentaries are good. I think there's a lot of stuff in the medical field that's changed drastically in the last number of years in research as to what the body does. That's probably why we're living a little bit longer, like me. I don't know how much longer I'm going to last. But anyway, I'm still kicking. So just be aware of your surroundings and be aware of what your limitations are. That's the whole key to everything. Watch what your limitations are and set those limits, and it'll keep you in a safe mood. That was a good presentation, Roger. Appreciate it.
I know. My buddy fell asleep.
All right, thank you, Roger. We're a little bit over today. Anyone have anything to add? Comments, questions? Going once, going twice. All right, the blackout, obviously, season blackout. We're not meeting on the 26th, and once we go into blackout, next meeting will be January 7th. So this is going to be pop up at the end of every meeting, so keep track of that so you don't kind of show up. And meeting adjourned. Thank you.
By the way, everybody's invited for the Christmas dinner. Just be sure and get your reservations in so we can make sure that we have enough seats for the
Don't
for the
forget to
episode.
sign if you haven't done so.
Wear red, wear your wig, wear your stocking cap. I'll bring candy canes again. That's my ritual.